Can You Trust Painfully Honest Tech, episode number 1, in which you can ask me anything and I will answer. Hey there, friends on YouTube. My name is Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. This is your first time here. Thank you for stopping by. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. Today we are going to do a little Can You Trust Painfully Honest Tech, in which I answer whatever question has been asked of me, and then you can decide for yourself, I guess. Charlotte Dashwood asks, Jason, have you ever bought a tech gadget that you really regretted purchasing? And why did you regret it? Yes. Every single day. I should clarify that whenever I buy something, I pretty much know that I don't need it, but yet I buy it anyway. It's one of those behaviors that I want to get out of my system. I think there are some things to it that, go along with some other things that have gone on in my life. MG Murad asks a few questions, and I'm going to cover one, although I know he wants me to cover all of them. I'll just take the first one. Do you think that the innovation of smartphones has taken a whole different meaning from practicality and ease of use to just being gimmicky? I think that we have, probably around 2016, we plateaued in terms of smartphones. Now, over the past few years, we haven't gotten a lot of innovative, never before seen, yada, 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 game-changing technology shifts. It's just more polish on the same kinds of stuff. The Galaxy Fold, I admire Samsung for trying to go in that direction. Now I guess they got a clamshell that they're gonna work on. But yeah, I wouldn't say gimmicky. I just think that they're trying to differentiate one model from the other, but ultimately they're really all very much the same. Lou Ganenum, I think that's how you would say that, asks, Can we trust YouTubers saying the iPhone XR screen is good enough when they are always opting for the iPhone XS Max instead? Fine question. And I just talked about this in a video that I put out earlier this week. Yeah, I think that you can trust most YouTubers when they say that the iPhone XR screen is good enough. It's good enough because there's really no discernible difference. In the eye of the beholder, you don't notice 1440p. You can't pixel peep that and see. So why do YouTubers choose the XS Max over the XR? Well, to tell you the truth, that's not the case. I just sold my XS Max, and I still have my XR. Does that answer your question? Franklin Goodwin asks, how many times have you been banned from Best Buy? I've never been officially banned from the store. I have been barred from returning things for a period of time. Last spring, I was barred from returning things because I had returned too many things. And part of the problem was that I got a couple of defective laptops, and so I had to return those. And then, it was exchanging a lot of laptops, and they kind of said no. But now I'm fine. I can return laptops all I want. I'm sure they feel differently, but Depression OW. Is that Depression Ow? How does it feel to be a meme? Well, if I've been that effective in getting myself out there, then to become a meme, then I'm proud of that accomplishment. I don't know. Dapper Dop, a fine young man, asks, what are the best and worst things about going full-time on YouTube? The best thing is being able to wake up in the morning and work on YouTube, and know that that's what you're going to do for the day. The worst thing is sort of the anxiety of knowing that you got a lot riding on it now, whereas before it was all gravy, and now it's for real. And in the early days here, I think I'm in the 4th week of being mostly full-time YouTuber, and yeah, it wears on you a little bit, the anxiety of just wanting everything to be okay and not quite knowing yet because you haven't gone through a full cycle and all that kind of thing. So the best thing is being able to get up and just know that that's the work you're going to do on the day. The worst thing is the anxiety of hoping that everything works out. John Uchiha asks, how do you feel about placing the camera under the screen? Does it worry you that all screens soon in the future could be cameras recording us like our televisions, for example? Now, John, do you have some sort of tinfoil hat on? Because, I mean, are we not as private as we once were? Yes, but are our TVs spying on us? I don't know. I mean, our computers are probably spying on us more than our TVs. I think camera under the screen is the next logical step. I don't think it's going to be any worse than having a webcam sitting up here that anybody can hack into at any time. So yeah, I feel fine about it. Yannick Hoffman asks, what was the process of going back and forth between Macs and PCs like for you? Did you anticipate confusing some of your viewers? What have you learned during that process? That process is in some ways still ongoing. I have the sticker shock of paying what you have to pay for Macs, while I know that the Mac OS works best for me for the things that I need to do. And yet I also know that if you spend the time to get it going the right way and all that, it takes a little bit more TLC than using a Mac does, but PCs can be just as effective. I did not expect the audience to take it as personally as some of them seem to have taken it. The thing about me, I like to tell stories. I like to tell people what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, all that kind of stuff. And so I just thought sharing the story of like what I was going through to find the technology that was going to work for me. I thought it would be a fun journey. It's been a mixed bag, to be honest. And also, I will admit, I could have been a little more assertive in just saying to myself, I'm going to keep this, I'm going to do this. But I thought it would be interesting for people to watch. I didn't expect for people to be so angry about it. Marcel asks, how did you start after you got out of school? Did you just do this? Get a desk job, McDonald's, study? Really interested to know. Okay. So I'm going to assume that by get out of school, you mean either high school or college. Yeah, the thing with me is I've always been someone making stuff. I was and still am a musician, songwriter, etc., etc. And I did that from the time I was in bands. I was in my first band when I was 14, and I toured and I worked and I moved to New York City and I toured and worked and did all this, made records, blah, blah, blah. I think the crux of your question is, did you just do this or get a desk job or go to McDonald's or whatever? I did a little bit of all those things. I worked in medical advertising and other kinds of editorial work for about 20 something years. And then the last 15 years I've been a teacher. Never worked at McDonald's, but definitely worked food service quite a bit in high school and college. I did study as much as I could. I was a music major when I started college. I got an English degree. Actually, I got a Regents Bachelor's of Arts degree, which meant I had enough credits to graduate, but it didn't all equal a degree. So I'll explain that some other time. And then I went to graduate school out here in Iowa. I went to the Writers Workshop, the Iowa Writers Workshop, which is a graduate program where you get to pretend to be a writer for 2 years and see how that goes. So yeah, I did a little bit of all those things. But my main goal was to stay focused on the fact that I wanted to be a creator, not a office worker bee or anything like that. That would have killed me. So I found ways to always continue my creative journey, no matter what kind of job I had to have to pay the bills. Vinjin, good friend of ours, your favorite YouTube channels. Do you follow other tech YouTubers? I do follow a lot of other tech YouTubers. Most of them are tech YouTubers that I started following when I got onto YouTube. I've been subscribed to Marquez Brownlee, John Morrison, iJustine, all those people I've been subscribed to for years, and I still really enjoy their stuff. My favorite YouTuber at the moment is probably Matt Diavella. I just really enjoy the way he makes his videos, his outlook on things, and just very contemplative. And I like that. Of course, I like other people in the tech space. Those people that I just mentioned are people that I really like. Mr. Mobile, Renee Ritchie, all people that I respect a ton. My friends over at Front Page Tech. It's hard to make a list that is comprehensive and not super long. But yeah, I do watch, and I do enjoy those folks. And more. Alejandro asks, how can we tell tech reviewers who are basically making glorified commercials with hardly any criticism from those who actually have independent, objective, painfully honest views like yourself? Thank you, Alejandro. I think you just have to have your bullshit meter calibrated. All tech YouTubers on some level or another are doing their best to give you their honest opinion. Getting to know the community a little bit more over the past couple of years, I don't think there's anybody out there just in the tank for whatever brand. I know it's something that people think is happening, and it's true that when you have a relationship with the brand, it can affect your how you look at what you're doing with that brand. You get personal relationships going on. It's incumbent on the viewer, as much as it is anything else, to say, okay, I enjoy this YouTuber and his or her content because it's entertaining, but I go to this YouTuber because I want all the facts that I can get about a piece of technology. I feel like a lot of YouTubers fill a lot of different gaps, and they have different focuses that they're really good at, whereas other people are good at stuff. I'm not a specs guy so much. I'm more, and I'm certainly not a super sexy cinematic video guy either. So I think you just have to assess for yourself, and if something smells, then it's probably rotten. Jose Herrera asks, what is your backup plan if YouTube doesn't work out for you? There is no backup plan, man. I waited until, I'm 47 years old, so I really worked hard and waited until I felt like the momentum had put me in a place where it was time that I could step away from working for somebody else and start working exclusively for myself. And it's not just me working on YouTube, but it's going to give me an opportunity to work on my music, on my writing, all those kinds of things once I get settled into this new lifestyle that I've gotten for myself. But I don't really have a backup plan. YouTube has been very great because it's given me the opportunity to step away and take the chance and take the risk of doing this full-time, being a full-time creator, and I'm just going to run with it. There might be lean times, there might not. I'm sure that there'll be ups and downs all along the way, but suffice it to say that I'm in it for the long haul. Brandon Driscoll asks, do you regret getting into the dumpster fire that is the tech community? My knee-jerk answer is no. I mean, I contribute to that dumpster fire, I guess. I didn't really anticipate getting into a tech community. There were videos that I watched from people that I liked, but I didn't really anticipate that there was a community out there, and there's been some really great experiences that I've had. Really great people, really great channels that I've got to meet and find and watch and become friends with some of these folks. So that's been a great experience. I mean, no matter how contentious or weird it might seem at certain times, most everybody is still friends or friendly in the green room, as it were. So yeah, I don't regret it at all. The tech community is like anything; it has its cycles. Maybe there was a little bit more dramatic cycle than there was before, but to everything there's a season. Christian Anthon asks, how long have you considered yourself a tech enthusiast, or something along those lines? Would you consider yourself very well versed in consumer electronics? I guess I've been a tech enthusiast for a good portion of my life. I mean, it started with, being into audio, record players, that kind of thing. I remember when I got my first student loan payout, I went to the stereo store, the hi-fi store, and bought myself a kick-ass pair of speakers. Don't do as I say, not as I do, or whatever it is. But yeah, so I've been into this stuff. That was 1989 when I bought those speakers. Musical instruments, recording gear, all that kind of stuff over the years. I've always been kind of geeked out about smartphones. I've just thought that they were really interesting because of the way that they transformed our lives. And so, yeah, it's been 30 plus years that I've been a tech enthusiast, I guess. And I do consider myself pretty knowledgeable about consumer technology. I mean, certainly I have things I don't know about, like everybody would. But I think one of the benefits that I have is that my experience with technology didn't start in the year 2000 or 2010 or something like that. I'm 47 years old and I've had a lot of time and experience using these things, and I know the history of how it was and how it is and how that works together. Mr. Bakerfield asks, what's one thing you wish you had known before your channel, about YouTube, before your channel got as big as it is now? YouTube is like very fluid. You always have to be learning and paying attention to how things are going, and just really be responsive and reactive to and trying to come up with new ideas all the time. And I guess I didn't not anticipate that, but YouTube is very different in those kinds of ways from other things that I've done. When you're a musician, you make a record, you record it, you mix it, you master it, it comes out and people listen to it. And then you go on through the process of playing shows and all that kind of stuff, and then you make another record, but it might not be for another year or whatever. YouTube is constant, and you have to keep the ideas flowing, and you have to find ways to keep yourself fresh, and that is a challenge. Some dude named Jason Nellis asks, top 5 favorite guitar players. Jeez. Man. Robert Cray, 1. This is in no order. Robert Cray, great blues guitarist. Have loved him for a long time. It's weird. I came across him in a weird way. George Harrison, even though George Harrison was a terrible guitar player when the Beatles first got signed. Glenn Campbell, another favorite. Bob Mould from, well, Husker Du, then Sugar, and now he makes records under his own name. Was a very influential guitar player to me, and Bob Dylan was a very influential guitar player to me. So I'll go with them, and maybe I'll throw in like one of the big gods of guitar. Let's just say Jimmy Page. This guy Rene Ritchie asks, I trust you to be painfully honest, Tech Beck, and I trust you to not grab it if I leave your favorite type of snack unguarded on the table while I take a phone call. Well, no, you can't. Honestly, if you're going to show your snacks that much disrespect by leaving them and to take a phone call, I mean, how rude is that? I can love your snacks in a way that seems like you're not. So, no, you can't trust me on that one. And so there they are. The questions that were given to me that I have now answered in my most bestest way. Let me know what you think down in the comments about this series, about the AMA thing that I'm doing. If you have other questions, this has been really interesting for me. A lot more questions about the life of a YouTuber than I expected, but that's cool because I want to share those kinds of things with folks. So I enjoyed this. Thank you very much for sticking around if you have stuck around. Once again, my name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech. Tech so honest it hurts. Until the next time, I'm out.